What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into another Early Bets Survivor takes and things you should fire on right now for Week 14 of the NFL. He is Pat Fitzmaurice. I'm Matt Perrault. We do this every week, guys. Every Tuesday, we're here breaking everything down. If you haven't hit subscribe yet on the BettingPros YouTube channel, you should absolutely do that so you know when this podcast drops every single Tuesday afternoon as we break it down. Pat, what a wild week. We had Thanksgiving. We had Black Friday. It wiped out every Survivor pool. If people are still left and watching us for Survivor, you're awesome. You're good, and you should be in the money very soon. So we thank you for coming back to watch Survivor picks for today because, well, at least here in Vegas, everyone got trashed on Black Friday and on Thanksgiving. Favorites go 0-4 straight up over the holiday. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good to see you, Matt. Yeah, I think that Eagles-Bears game crushed a lot of people on Black Friday. And, speaking of the Bears, nice to see you trying to get on my good side by wearing the Green Bay Packers hat. Coupled with your Jamaica warm-up, it kind of works from a color scheme perspective, but, something tells me that people are not going to be sitting in the sand drinking a red stripe in frozen Lambeau Field on Sunday against the Bears, where we just got about a foot of snow up here in like Chicago, Wisconsin over the last about 8-10 inches Saturday. Another little round of snow yesterday. So it already feels like winter up here. So Bears, Packers, snowy conditions, it just feels right.
All right, talking about 3 games that each of us want to fire on, and then we'll do a lock it in game at the end as well, something you should fire on from a number perspective before the number moves. But for this week, what is your number one play? What do you want to bet on right now here on Tuesday for Week 14?
I want to bet the Jaguars catching 1.5 points at home from the Colts. I'm still not entirely sure what to think about the 8-4 Jaguars, Matt, but they seem more legitimate now than they did when they were getting out to a 4-1 start and living off a huge, unsustainable turnover differential. But let's take a quick look at the Jaguars' last 3 games. They absolutely smoked the Chargers 35-6 in Jacksonville. They went on the road and showed some moxie in pulling out a 27-24 overtime win in Arizona against the Cardinals team that's been pretty feisty ever since Jacoby Brissett took over at quarterback. And then this past weekend, they were very businesslike in winning a road game against the Titans 25-3, had a bad opponent, handled them easily. So by no means do I think the Jaguars are a great team, but I think they're slowly but surely becoming a pretty good team under Liam Cohen. The Colts, meanwhile, 1-3 over their last 4 games. The only win was in overtime against the Falcons in Berlin. That was the only time they scored more than 20 points during this 4-game slump. And Daniel Jones is playing with a fracture in his fibula and looks like he can't move around very well. So the Colts still have Jonathan Taylor, but the Jaguars are really tough against the run. Over their last 7 games, they've held opponents to an average of 71.4 rushing yards, and only one of those 7 opponents had more than 90 rushing yards. So the Jacksonville run D is pretty legit. And on defense, the Colts have given up 20 or more points in each of their last 4. And they just lost Sauce Gardner to a calf injury. So I really like the Jaguars as a home dog.
I love this play. This will be a bet that I will make on Sunday or Thursday or some point during the week. Everything you said, I agree with the Jaguars, but it's more of a fade on the Colts. It's Shane Steichen in December. Historically speaking, Shane Steichen in December is an absolute fade. And Daniel Jones, I completely agree with you. His weapon with his legs, his ability to pick up first downs in the early part of the year was so big because that's why I really think he was able to handle the pressure. He was the best quarterback through 10 weeks against pressure. If you blitzed him, he was either picking up the first down with his legs, or he was throwing the ball accurately to a wide receiver core that was on fire. This team can't move the football right now. This team is having a hard time scoring right now, and it's December, and it's a fading time for the Colts. I am 100% with you on the Jaguars. I'm going to say this. I think that they go off as a favorite. I'm not sure this number is going to hold. I think once people wake up and start realizing what the number is, go, wait, whoa, hold on a second. I'm getting points with the Jaguars. Give me Jacksonville plus the points. I think it's a really good play.
Yeah, I debated whether to make this the lock it in now pick, but this is one I'm not going to wait to bet.
Yeah, I think you should bet it. If you have your book or your books, if you have a plus, plus points for Jacksonville, I would take it. I don't think you need it. I think you bet money line. I think the Jaguars win the game outright, but sometimes it's safe to have the security blanket of taking the points just in case something funky happens in a divisional game, which they tend to do. For me, I'm going to go to Sunday night and I'm going to look at the Houston Texans and the KC Chiefs and play the under 42.5. Much like you, this number is going to move. I think this number is going to close either 40 or below. I think we're going to see a lot of money come in here. I don't know how the Chiefs are going to score against right now the hottest defense in the NFL and the team that nobody wants to make the playoffs. You don't want to play the Houston Texans. The Patriots don't. The Broncos don't. Nobody wants to play the Houston Texans because of how ferocious that defense has been playing. And while I know CJ Stroud has struggled, that's why I like the under. But in the postseason, we'll see what they look like from an offensive standpoint. But up against a Chief team with their backs against the wall in a game they absolutely have to have, I'm assuming that defense is going to put their foot down and say, okay, no one's scoring on our watch. I like the under 42.5 Texans Chiefs here on Sunday night.
I'm with you on this. The Texans have had their last 3 games play under 40 points and 4 of their last 5. It's the best defense in the NFL, Matt. Will Anderson is, I know Myles Garrett is getting the heavy attention and the runaway favorite to be defensive player of the year, but man, Will Anderson is so good. That guy is just, and then you've got Danielle Hunter on the other side of him. I mean, it's just unfair to quarterbacks. I mean, these guys terrorize opposing quarterbacks. The Chiefs can't really run the ball effectively. They don't have much of a deep passing game. It's all just intermediate dink and dunk their way down the field. And that's going to be really hard to do against the Houston Texans. And meanwhile, the Texans, they've got offensive problems of their own. Their offensive line's been a little bit better lately. It's not the disaster it was early in the season, but they have trouble running the ball. They have trouble making big plays in the passing game. So throw in some probably pretty inhospitable weather in Kansas City at night. Yeah. And I like the under a lot here.
And look, the Chiefs might win the game, okay? And they might win the game like 13-7. But I still think the Texans have a huge chance here to end the season for the Chiefs. They lose this game, I think it's over. And so I do expect, Andy Reid's saying some really wild stuff about what the offense is going to look like and what he's going to tickle and whatever else. We'll see what they do on offense. But I do expect the Chiefs to throw the kitchen sink at the Texans, and that could lead to turnovers. That's my one little worry about that. But I think that has more to do with who wins the game than a high-scoring game to go over 42.5 points. But again, that number is going to move. So if you were listening to this on Tuesday afternoon and you see a number at 42.5, I would take it because I don't think that number is going to be there for long. Bet number 2 for you, Pat. Where are you going?
Jets plus 2.5 at home against the Dolphins.
Love it.
Yeah, the Jets are 3-2 in their last 5 games. And granted, they have beaten some pretty poor teams, but this is not a talented Jets roster. But the Jets are playing hard under Aaron Glenn. They have a little hidden edge in special teams. They rank number 1 in the league in special teams DVOA. The Dolphins defense has been playing really well, and Devon Achane has been doing his best to just carry this Miami offense. But Matt, how do you feel about a team quarterbacked by Tua Tagovailoa being favored in a road game when the game time temperature is likely to be around 40 degrees?
0. Nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
I mean,
and here's the thing too, to back you up, the pros, as we're talking here, we tape this on Tuesday morning. It drops Tuesday afternoon. The pros are betting the Dolphins. It's now 3. As we're talking, the number has moved to 3. This is great. Okay. I believe this is a head fake. I don't believe this is a real move. I think this is just take what the books will give you, take the 2.5 points, get it to 3, and then the real money will come in behind it on the Jets plus 3. Same number was last week at home plus 3. I was all over it. It'll be the same thing this week. Jets plus 3. I'm with you.
And that was my choice. Do I take this? Do I take the 2.5 or do I take the money line at my plus 105? And if you're seeing it at 3 in some spots, then I'm just going to take the 3 points.
Yeah. 100%. Take the 3. It's just wait, take 3. Literally as we're talking, the board's lighting up. So it's the morning of FanDuel's at 3, Circa's at 3, Superbook's at 3. South Point's at 3. ESPN Bet now, whatever you want to call it, the score bet is at 3. So I mean, everyone's going to be at 3 by the end of Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening. I think the whole world will be at 3. And then I think when the limits open up on Thursday and Friday, I do think you're going to see people come in and take the Jets at +3. It's a good play.
Yeah,
I like
agree.
For my second play coming up here, and I bounced around with a lot of these, and I kind of thought about what I wanted to do with this. I'm going to take the Commanders, and I'm going to lay the 1.5, assuming that Jaden Daniels is playing. Okay, I need Jaden Daniels playing. It looks like he's going to play, and if he does play, I think you will see. I mean, I think Washington might wind up going off as the favorite here. Circa's gone to a pick. So has the Superbook. So has the South Point. Hard Rock Bet actually flipped. They're at -1 now for Washington. So the Commanders are favored now. They were +1.5. I'm sorry, the Vikings are done. Like that's it. I'm out. I think the Commanders aren't playing for much, but they're playing a lot harder, and getting Jaden Daniels back, I think, is a huge deal for this team, a big pick-me-up spot for this team to have him out there in a dome environment. I know the Vikings don't lose at home all that often, but my gosh, has this team fallen apart. J.J. McCarthy and company, they didn't score last week, Pat.
And even the defense hasn't been that great, Matt. I mean, I know the Seahawks barely did anything through the air. They didn't have to. It was such an easy game for them with their defense, and just let the running game do the heavy lifting on offense. Normally, I would be wary about taking anything short of a playoff team going up against the Vikings in US Bank Stadium, because that has traditionally been a really hard place for visitors to play. But JJ McCarthy, a beaten up offensive line. I don't think they're going to have Aaron Jones for this game, who re-injured his shoulder. And if Jaden Daniels, and I know a lot of people are probably thinking, why would the Commanders let Jaden Daniels play when they're pretty much out of the playoffs? I don't know if they've been mathematically eliminated or not, but they're really close to it.
Yeah.
But players play. It's what they do. They get paid a lot of money to play football, and it's not week 17 or week 18. It's week 14. So if he can play, and by all accounts, it seems like he was really, really close to playing in week 13. Best to grab this now while there's still some ambiguity about whether he's going to be in uniform.
I think he's playing. I think the number tells you he's playing. I think the fact that the move came here on Tuesday on Washington tells me he's playing. And so, and I would be very surprised. I know you could say it was the same thought like last night with Jackson Dart playing for the Giants. Like why are you playing him? I get it. There's danger there. But I think because Jaden Daniels is a young quarterback, any rep's a good rep. Get him out there, let him play, let him get back into the swing of things. And frankly, they lost a game to a playoff team in the Broncos in overtime by going for 2 with, let's be frank, if it's Jaden Daniels running that 2-point play, he probably pulls that ball down and runs in for a 2-point play. That was wide open. It's Marcus Mariota. He throws the ball, it gets spiked into his face, and the game ends. So I think Daniels probably says, if that's me, we win the game.
And they were going up against one of the best defenses in the NFL. The Commanders had 30 first downs in that game.
Yeah.
30. Like, they actually looked like a professional outfit, and that was with Marcus Mariota at, Mariota at quarterback.
Goodness gracious, that was so bad. So bad.
Chris Collinsworth, man.
Yeah, stop, guys. Just
exactly.
Mike and Chris, stop, please. We all have to watch you on Sunday night. Please, I implore you, stop doing what you're doing with these broadcast pronunciations. Anyways, number 3 play for you. Where are we going?
Let's go to the NFL's oldest rivalry, Matt, Bears-Packers. And let me lay a trend on you. This one is this is a personal trend.
Ooh,
I moved to Chicago in the spring of 1997 as a young go-getter. And I've lived in the city of Chicago or in the Chicago suburbs for the vast majority of my adult life. Since moving to Chicago, the Packers have gone 43-14 against the Bears straight up.
Wow.
My friends in Wisconsin sometimes ask me what it's like to live behind enemy lines. Honestly, It's been pretty painless. Bears fans haven't had a whole lot to chirp about when it comes to the rivalry with the Packers. So, but now these new look Bears under Ben Johnson, I know there are a lot of data points that suggest the Bears are nowhere near as good as their 9-3 record. And the playoffs started today, they'd be the number 1 seed in the NFC. They're 6 games over 500, and yet their point differential for the season is only +6. Bears rank 19th in total DVOA. They've gone 6-1 in one-score games, but a couple of points about the Bears. First of all, they've played most of the season without their 2 best cornerbacks, Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon. Those guys are back now. The Bears have also been dealing with a bunch of injuries at linebacker. It's possible they could get a couple of those guys back for this game. And the Bears' offensive line has been playing so well. These guys are doing work, Matt. Caleb Williams took a league-high 68 sacks last year. This year, he's only been sacked 19 times in 12 games, 9 times in his last 7 games. Barely getting sacked once a game. And the Bears are second in the league in rushing yardage, just 22 yards behind the league-leading Bills. Since their Week 5 bye, the Bears have averaged 179.6 rushing yards per game, and they've run for at least 140 yards in all but 2 of those 8 games. So we know the Packers tend to play to the level of their opponents. We've seen them rise to the challenge and beat the Lions twice. We've seen them lose to the Panthers and Browns and barely beat the Cardinals. I think the Bears are pretty legit. They're kind of like the Jaguars in the NFC, a team that was doing it with smoke and mirrors and a big turnover differential early in the year. And since they've kind of actually grown into their shoes a little bit. And Matt, as a Packers fan living in Illinois, pains me to say all of this, but I got to call them like I see them. I think the Packers should be favored by 4.5 or 5, not by 6.5. I think there's betting value on the Bears, but it seems like bettors like the Packers here. So I'm maybe holding off another day to see if this line runs up to 7.
That's going to be your ceiling. Yeah. 7's going to be your ceiling.
It is. But I would take them at 6.5. If I don't get 7, I'm good with 6.5.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of disagreements in the market, and I think it's going to keep this number at below 7. 5.5 at open. First move was to the Packers to make it go to 6.5, and it's pretty much rock solid 6.5 across the country, across the world. So we don't have right now a lot of discrepancy in the market. I do think you're going to see a lot of people arguing on either side all week long because it's Lambeau. Are we selling high on the Bears? I'm done fading the Bears. Okay. I bet against them on Black Friday. Was that the Eagles or was that the Bears? I don't know. I don't care. I'm not going to bet against them. This is Chicago or nothing for me. I wore this in solidarity for you to say, here you go. I'm not betting the Bears yet, but you took it. You are. So It makes me feel better about telling you that, like, I'm not trusting Matt LaFleur here late in the year. Another one of these coaches you simply cannot trust when the calendar turns to December. It's just really hard. I mean, the Bears are 9-3. I didn't think they'd be 9-3. I mean, this is the first time since 2010, 2011, where both teams have hit this late in the year with a win percentage of 66% or higher. Like that is wild on this. So, yeah.
You don't get many cold weather games where these mean something. I'm thinking back to, the NFC Championship game with Jay Cutler losing to the Packers. It's been a while. So, although we are going to get at least a handful of viewers watching the show, Matt, and thinking to themselves, you're going to bet against Jordan Love during Toyotathon? What are you thinking?
I mean, look, at home, Matt LaFleur, he wins, okay? 10-1 straight up in December. And on 10 days prep, LaFleur is 4-0 straight up in December and 6-1 straight up in December or later. He's just not that great against the number. He's 13-10-1 ATS in December. So he wins, though. Like, you're talking about just a win, the Packers winning this game. Yes, I can see the Packers winning this game. Covering, I don't know. That's my issue with this. It's the number at 6.5 being as high as it is. It feels heavy. On Tuesday here today, it feels heavy for the Packers at home.
And that fits how Matt LaFleur likes to play. I mean, we saw something a little different on Thanksgiving Day when the Packers were kind of pass heavy against the Lions. But for the most part, Matt LaFleur sort of wants to shorten the game and make it go quickly. I'm not sure that's always the prudent move, but that's kind of how he likes to coach. And so I think that explains the discrepancy between his record straight up at home in December and against the number.
For my final one, I am going to the Seattle Seahawks in one of my favorite trend bets of the year. It's Mike McDonald. It's Eastern time zone. It's Seattle. It's a dome game in the 1 o'clock window. Seattle entering this week have won 7 games outright in the 1 o'clock window. And when you put it, that's a 6-0 straight up since the start of last season. Mike McDonald with the Seahawks on the road is 9-4-1 against the number, 5-2-1 when playing on the East Coast. I don't know why this team plays better on the East Coast under Mike McDonald, but whatever he does to get his team ready, they're actually worse at home under Mike McDonald than they are on the road. I know the number is heavy. I know 7's a big number. I don't care. Sam Darnold's playing so well. As a favorite of 6 points or more in the NFL as a starter, get this stat. He's 10-0 straight up, and he's 8-2 against the spread. When the books think that Sam Darnold and company are going to score and going to win, they cover. I like this Seattle team, but on the road, on the East Coast, against a team like the Falcons, I love them. I'll lay the 7 points with Seattle on the road as a road favorite.
You have got me interested in this one, Matt. This was not initially on my radar. I certainly wasn't interested in betting the Falcons with Kirk Cousins going up against the Seattle defense. No, that's a pretty epic mismatch. But it seems like a lot of points for a road favorite, especially with a team literally going, about as far as you can to play this game cross country. But that trend is fascinating. Obviously, Mike McDonald is doing something to make his players view these as business trips, and they're having a lot of success. So you have me very interested in this because I do think Seattle is the far superior team here, especially with Kirk Cousins at quarterback.
I would love 6.5. I just think I think this number is probably going to stay at 7 all week. Some books opened up at 7.5. Some books open at 7. Some books are still at 7.5. Find the 7, take the 7. I don't like the hook there, but I do think Seattle's going to lay a hurting on the Falcons, and I don't like Kirk Cousins in this offense at all.
Do you? And it doesn't help that the Falcons a couple of weeks ago lost, or maybe it was just last week. Billy Bowman, their slot corner, tore his Achilles. Not what you want when you have to face JSN.
Best receiver in the game.
Yeah. And does it matter to you if Drake London is able to play for the Falcons this week? Yeah.
No.
Nor should it.
No, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's great for fantasy or prop bets or the over, maybe, if you want to go with that, with having London available. It doesn't change who I think wins the game. I think Sam Darnold's going to put up a big number against the Falcons defense have been opportunistic, but I like this team a lot for Seattle. I mean, I have a 14-1 ticket on the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl. And I now it's 4-1. So I like it a lot as to what this team looks like right now. And going on the road, I don't think bothers them one bit. Guys, before we give you the survivor picks, this broadcast is being brought to you by our friends at Hard Rock Bet. It is a big week for Hard Rock Bet. Hard Rock Bet now is live in Michigan. Sign up today and place your first $5 sports bet. If it wins, you get the $150 in bonus bets on top of your winnings. But also, if you're into casino games, new customers can get up to $1,000 back in casino bonus if you're not up money after your first 24 hours of playing slots. Win money or get your casino bonus back. Plus, you get $200 bonus spins. Winning gets paid out in cash on those 200 bonus spins. Don't forget about the Hard Rock Bet Stats Hub, which has trend streaks and stats. And Hard Rock Bet offers new promos daily, including the big legendary reward drop every Thursday. Download the Hard Rock Bet app and make your first deposit today. Survivor, if you guys are alive in Survivor, bless you, because you've made it this far. And I don't know how many people are left in your Survivor pool, but it can't be a ton. You got to have a short number. It feels like it's a hard thing to recommend, Pat, just because we don't know what people have available. But if they have these teams available, who do you like to get a W this week?
I know how you feel about betting divisional games, Matt, but obviously, beggars can't be choosers this deep into the season. So I think I maybe feel best about Buccaneers against the Saints, even though the Bucs offense hasn't been humming of late. I think it really helps that they got Bucky Irving back last week, and I think they're just going to outclass the Saints at home.
At home, yep.
Yeah,
I agree. Yep, that's one of mine.
And I mean, other plays that you could consider. I mean, certainly the Rams going on the road. Like they're another one, betting a divisional road
Yeah,
favorite. Yeah, that's a little tough. I do
that's.
like
I mean, the Broncos. I mean, it's the same conversation with the Broncos, right? Against the Raiders. Same number. It's a big number. Rams are 8. Broncos are 8. They're big numbers, but I think the Cardinals are playing harder than the Raiders are. So I think if you're going to be inclined to bet a divisional game with a big road favorite, I would take the Broncos if you have them available. Most people will not have Denver, the Rams, the Ravens. Like the problem for anybody to, in Survivor is trying to find which bad team do you have to take to win. And I think if you haven't taken the Texans, maybe you roll with the Texans. If you haven't taken a complete, Jacksonville probably hasn't been on people's radar screens all that much. You could take Jacksonville potentially on that over the Colts. But no matter who you play this week, you're not going to be running to the window excited about who you have.
What if you're really down to the felt, Matt? You've used up all these teams with winning records. Could you take the Browns at home against the Titans?
Yes. Yes, you can. The question is, I'm really worried about that locker room in Cleveland. This Shedeur Sanders thing is starting to leak. And if the team wants to play for Dylan Gabriel, and they don't want to play for Shedeur Sanders, and Dylan Gabriel is cleared to play, if he gets his concussion protocol cleared, and the coaching staff puts Shedeur in, I'm nervous. That's my only worry about Cleveland. They're not playing for anything. So you give them a reason not to be excited or motivated or focused. That's my worry about that game.
I get it. That said, I do think Shedeur is a better quarterback than Dylan Gabriel is.
Agreed.
But
Agreed.
Yeah, and it's the other thing. I mean, even though I mistakenly liked the Browns against the 49ers in part because the weather was going to be bad and I thought the Browns would be better cut out for that. Turned out the weather wasn't that inclement.
I teased it and I lost.
Yeah.
I mean, I gave the Browns 11.5 and I lost.
Oh, and I, barely hit on the under. It just snuck under 35,
you got lucky there.
points. Yep. And the weather is not supposed to be that bad this weekend in Cleveland. It's supposed to be pretty seasonal. So I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing for the Browns. I think if you're in a pinch, you could take them. That's the one option that most of the remaining Survivor people would probably have available to them. I doubt they've used the Browns anywhere else to this point.
Right. Guys, track your bets and get line alerts to your phone by downloading the BettingPros app with Sportsbook Sync. Automatically track your bets across all major sportsbooks in one spot. Easily monitor your bet performance by sport and bet type, game picks, props, and parlays. Create custom betting systems to find winning trends and profitable opportunities. New users can get 6 months of BettingPros Premium for free with your first deposit and wager at one of our partner sportsbooks. Learn more at bettingpros.com/premium. All right, let's go to a lock it in. What bet would you make right here on a Tuesday for week 14?
Colts Jaguars under 48.5 points. And we've already talked a lot about this Colts Jaguars game and how Daniel Jones is playing hurt for the Colts. And I think the Jaguars run defense is good enough to at least slow down Jonathan Taylor. Jaguars offense ranks 21st in DVOA. The Colts defense ranks 13th in DVOA. So I don't think Trevor Lawrence is really going to be lighting up the Colts defense, even though the Colts are going to be playing without Sauce Gardner. I just don't see these teams racing up and down the field, Matt, especially not with Daniel Jones playing in a compromised state with that fractured leg. I like the under, and I want to pounce on it now while it's so overinflated. But then again, maybe I should have switched the over-under in this game with the line on the Jaguars 2.5, because as you mentioned, that's probably going down too.
For me, I am going to take the Cowboys at plus 3.5. It's a number that's going to come down to 3. If you can find it, go and search it. The South Point here in Vegas has that 3.5. There's others as well that are at 3.5, but it's coming down. It opened up at 5. It's 3. That feels like that's going to be the number for Thursday night. Cowboys on the road against the Lions. I know everyone is saying you're going to bet against the Lions at home in a must-win playoff game. That's really dangerous. Look, the Cowboys just beat the Eagles and the Chiefs in back-to-back weeks. They are the hottest team in football. They have the most momentum going into this game. They have a defense. They have an offense that can score on anybody. It is a primetime game for Dak Prescott. I love betting on Dak Prescott in primetime games. This guy just simply wins when the lights are the brightest. Dallas has a chance here to really put a lot of pressure on the Eagles, who play the Chargers on Monday Night Football. If Dallas wins and a loss comes from the Eagles, all of a sudden we got a chance here, okay? The Cowboys are 5-1 against the spread as underdogs this season. They're better as a dog than they are as a favorite. Give me the Cowboys plus 3.5 on the road against the Lions on Thursday night.
Wow. And the Lions are probably not going to have Amon-Ra St. Brown, and the Cowboys' run defense has quietly been very good over the last 3 weeks.
Maybe Jerry does know what he's doing. I don't know. Maybe he does. Who knows?
Do we really have to admit that?
He just lucked his way into it. He just fell into this run defense with 2 amazing trades, and the Jets were stupid enough to give him a 3-time All-Pro defensive tackle. So, he winds up changing everything. It's amazing when you get good players playing run defense, right? It's like, oh, amazing. Like, you got amazing run-stopping defensive linemen. It actually helps your defense out, and everybody else can play better. And, Gerard Bland can go back to playing what he did with the secondary and whatnot. So we know they can score, and this Lions defense, everyone's going to run with the narrative of Jared Goff and Dan Campbell at home. Bet the over. It's not a horrible play to bet the over. I think most people are going to say bet the over. But given the fact that the Lions offense has not looked like the Lions offense, like, let's be frank here, this offense is somewhat anemic. Losing at home in their last game to the Giants, it's like, what are we doing? like this is not good.
What a fun Thursday night game. I mean, this is major playoff implications. This is a good old-fashioned pro wrestling loser leaves town match, because I don't think whoever loses this game is making the playoffs.
Agreed. 100%. Completely agree. Guys, one more reminder that you can score 6 months of BettingPros Premium for free. Just make a deposit and place your wager at a partner sportsbook. Premium gives you access to Sharp AI, the betting systems, the prop bet cheat sheet, and the same game parlay builder, all the tools you need to bet smarter. Claim your upgrade now by going to bettingpros.com/premium. It's week 14 as we wrap here. Pat, what game are you going to be watching the closest in week 14? What is your attention?
I mean, we just talked about that that Lions Cowboys game. That is going to be a fascinating one. I'm really, obviously, Jaguars Colts has major playoff implications. So does Chiefs Texans, and of course Bears Packers is going to have my full attention because they play each other twice in the next 3 weeks, and those games are going to decide the NFC North, it appears.
For me, can Joe Burrow do the Patriots a huge favor?
Oh.
Can Joe Burrow go on the road and beat the Buffalo Bills and make the game in 2 weeks in Foxborough basically irrelevant? That the Patriots, it's a hat and t-shirt game already for the Patriots.
Yep.
But if they were to have a Bills team that's 2.5 games behind them, the Patriots would need to win that game to win. And some are saying, beat Cincinnati and let's set it up for the Bills Patriots. Pat's already beat the Bills once. Let's dethrone, Josh Allen. Let's turn the page back. Let's go back in time. Let's show the Bills the Patriots are still owning the division and they're going to own it for a very long time. So there is some fun narrative with that game. But if the Bills were to lose to the Bengals, that game doesn't matter. The Patriots would need one more win the rest of the way, and they will clinch the AFC East. So I'll be watching. Can Joe Burrow do it again to Josh Allen? Because, Burrow can't go to the playoffs, but he could keep the Bills from going to the playoffs.
And it will be fun to see what kind of game that is. The total right now is 51.5 points, Matt. And for a December game in Buffalo, but the weather forecast as of now looks pretty mild and innocuous. So, which I like because I want to see these two teams race up and down the field.
Should be good. Should be good. He is Pat Fitzmaurice. I am Matt Perrault. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the Betting Pros YouTube channel. We're back every Tuesday breaking down end of the week 15 coming up next. Hope to see you guys back here again on the Betting Pros YouTube channel.